Well, thank you, Susanna, for coming on to LinkedIn Live and to the YouTube channel. It's a great idea that you had for us to meet and to discuss how businesses can help each other grow. So I'll introduce you. You're Susanna Etheridge of Etheridge Estates. You're based up in Kent, and I work closely with you in our common BNI group. And you've had this fantastic idea. So tell me about your idea for helping each other grow.
Okay, so we do it obviously in BNI. So we meet up every week and we discuss how we can help each other grow their businesses. And I feel that we can actually do that on our social media groups as well.
Mhm.
So I have certain followers that help me grow my business regarding the property side of my business. And I thought, wouldn't it be lovely if I could offer to my clients all of the businesses that I have access to via BNI? So where we can put your videos on my social media, and then all of my clients will have access to your business, which is leadership training.
Well, that's such a fantastic idea. I'll just explain to anyone who's not familiar what BNI is. And BNI is a global franchise that is the most successful networking referral business in the world. And I was very, very resistant to joining BNI for a very long time.
Me
I didn't
too.
understand it, I didn't get it. And I've been to a few that I just felt that it was very, very rigid and structured, and I didn't get it. But now, being part of the Dartford Gateway BNI, I've made some fantastic friends. I've certainly grown my business, and I'm able to help other businesses grow. And this is where we're on the same page, you and I. Most of the members of our BNI group, well, all of us actually, we all really want other businesses to grow, and we're always looking for ways to help each other. And I absolutely love your idea because, one, it's a free idea. There's
Yes,
no cost involved. And two, there's this ripple effect. And it's about the we, not the I. And as you know,
exactly.
I'm a transformational leadership coach, and I'm all about lifting people up for the bigger purpose. And this is exactly that, an example of it. So tell me about some of the things that you've been doing in your social media lately. It's been really inspirational for me.
So I basically have decided I'm going to be in front of the camera rather than behind it, which is not a natural position for me,
Mm.
but I'm learning. And as I go along, I hope I'm going to be polishing it and honing it so it's a bit more professional. But basically, I'm just showing people what it means to be an agent. What are the highs? What are the lows? What are the things that are really challenging about my position? And what are the things that I absolutely love? So, the one that I did yesterday was about going to see a client after they've moved into their new home, giving them a new home gift from me. So I have a lady who creates them for me. They're all very bespoke and they're all lovely. And just go and see them. And it's one of the best parts of my job. I absolutely love it. After all the stress and all the worry, they're finally in their new home and they can finally settle and they get this lovely gift and they're always very happy.
Well, it's really lovely that you put those final touches into a very stressful process. Every week I listen to how you've helped people through the housing process, from selling and buying as stress-free as possible, especially for people who are nervous of this. It's one of the most major decisions that we have in life is to, move house or purchase a house. And I really like the fact that you understand the stresses and you try to help alleviate that. And further to that, the other thing that I really like is that you're taking this bold leap into going in front of the camera. And I'm all about growth and business growth, but also you can only grow your business if you change yourself slightly. And I'm really fascinated by the fact that you've been on this journey. You have a business coach, and your business coach is challenging you, supporting you, interested in helping you to come outside of your comfort zone. So what's been the thing to make you make that leap?
Um, I've had coaches before. Possibly they weren't the right type of coach. They were more about the business side and didn't really understand the complexity of being an agent. My coach that I have now used to be an agent. So he knows what it's like. He knows the challenges that we face on a daily basis, and he makes me accountable. My previous coaches, it was more like just having a friend that I could speak to once a week and go over some ideas or things like that. Chris actually makes me accountable. So he actually phones me regularly and he says, have you done this and have you done that? And have you done the things that we agreed that you were going to do? And when I come up with ideas myself, I can speak to him and say to him, do you think this is a good idea? Do you think it's going to work? And he will set me almost like a time frame. So he'll say to me, right, let's do it for 3 months, and we can chart the amount of interaction that you've had and any feedback that you get, and we can see if it's a good idea, or maybe we need to tweak it a little bit or change it around a little bit. So he's really good at doing that for me. He kind of is bringing me out of my comfort zone, because I love what I do as an agent, and I'd like to think I'm good at it. But as far as running my own business and being the front of house, the face of the business, has always been a little bit something I've not been quite comfortable with. So he's making me comfortable with that side of it. So.
And I hear that a lot with the businesses that I've coached, is that people know their skill, if you like, their technical skills, but what they don't fully appreciate is that there is a new role, as well as being, for example, a fee owner as an estate agent. You have to be the role of the owner of the business. And my particular area that I love to focus on is helping people transform from a business owner to a business leader. As the business grows and you grow your team, you do have to evolve. It's a new skill set, managing the work of other people, and also the fact that you're transforming yourself in terms of what you're comfortable with. And if you were too afraid to do that, you might not grow your business, and therefore you wouldn't be the business owner that you hope to be. So it's about stepping out of that comfort zone, taking on that identity in a different role, and making those uncomfortable decisions to be brave, step out of being the person behind the camera and being the person in front. And I've totally had to do that with my role. And I can hear the fact that, it's hard, but just because it's hard doesn't mean to say you shouldn't do it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love in our weekly meetings, and you do your presentation, I love the way that you come across, your mannerisms. You're very encouraging. You're very professional, very straightforward. You don't mince your words, but you're also very encouraging. So I find that's really, really lovely to have that resource at my hand, and to be able to say, actually, do you know what? I'm feeling a little bit uncomfortable about this situation. Maybe I'll give Rachel a quick call and we can go through it, and she can help me find a position that I'm comfortable with going forward, so that I know that I'm in the best position to help my clients. And that's what I love.
And I've really enjoyed that camaraderie in the BNI as well, growing through this business of building a relationship. So, we've got to know each other over the last year. I've been in BNI for nearly a year, and we've got to know each other. And we can't do business without building personal relationships. Business is ultimately personal relationships, interactions through effective communication. And, I find that the regular meeting and understanding and finding out about a person, I'm much more comfortable to be able to recommend you and all the people in our group. And earlier on today, I had a lovely meeting with Kat in our group, and she does websites. She said I'd helped her, but actually she'd helped me. I was totally against doing Instagram until I had a conversation with Kat today.
She's so good with social media, isn't she?
So I'm going to step out of my comfort zone, and I've taken on the pledge that I will try to conquer Instagram, which I feel totally overwhelmed by. But I'm encouraged by the fact that you're really into sharing each other's businesses on social media. So, I was quite interested to hear how you've built up your number of followers. So you've got a lot of followers, and how did you achieve that in your journey with your business?
So I've been an estate agent for quite a long time. So there's a lot of previous clients that know me and know who I am. And we kind of stayed in touch. It's one of those relationships where you don't necessarily become friends, but you become friendly towards your clients. And they like to stay in touch. They like to have you on hand for advice whenever they need it. I have certain clients who I've helped them with their own personal transaction, who've then come back to me for advice on lettings and buying rental properties and things like that. So it's an ongoing relationship that you have. Mm-hmm. And then they tend to then follow you on your social media, because I like to give not just me, it's not about me, but I like to give good content. So I like to do things where there are social events going on in the local area, or perhaps there's something happening that I think they need to be aware about, such as budget changes, elections. All of those can affect property and house prices, interest rates, that sort of thing. That's a whole other story. We'll do that another time. But it's just about giving them some value and giving them consistency. And by doing that, people tend to be attracted to your social media and like to follow it, so that they are almost like the first people to know what's happening in their local area. So
that's a really lovely idea. It's like building a community, and all the gurus who talk about, marketing in this present day and age, this digital age, is about building a community, a set of people who follow your movements, like and share, and then that helps a ripple effect that goes out into the economy. So I wanted to come live on LinkedIn to talk about this, because I think, the economy is tough at the moment. There's a lot of people, with uncertainty in their lives. And we've got a new government. We've got lots of changes proposed in terms of employment law, fiscal policies, all of these things that are going to affect businesses. And Absolutely. Any small way that we can all club together to help each other grow is going to uplift the whole of the UK. So my personal journey for that is to try to build more effective leaders. And you're telling me that you want to help me do that, and I'm also happy to see if I can help you with your business, because you're building this community of followers, and I admire you for that, and I'd really like to start building up mine, and I'm going to try and do that. My next pledge is to conquer Instagram. So that's been quite an exciting day for me, because I was dead set against BNI for a start. I didn't understand it, I didn't get it. Now I absolutely love it. And I was employed for a year by Lucy Cameron, and she's a fantastic coach. And she was always talking about BNI, because she's actually a franchise holder for BNI in Kent and Sussex. And I said, you never get me to go to BNI. And for a whole year, I refused. And then all of a sudden, I've realised what I've missed out on in all that time. So I'm glad that I've learned those things. And I'm hoping that I'm just about to do that, the same with Instagram, if I can. So I want for you to support me, and I'll support you. And then I'll come back in a few weeks' time, and we can talk to each other about how we've grown. And from a point of view, from the business side of it, and you said that your coach holds you accountable. I really like to hear that, because when we're our own boss, we've got our own business, we can be two types of boss. We can either be totally friendly and lovely and give ourselves a day off all the time, or we can go too far the other way and be so demanding of ourselves and set very, very high standards and be totally unkind to ourselves. And what I like about the fact that you've got a coach is that it's almost like a mediator between your own good boss and your own bad boss.
Absolutely. Yeah. And, I'm very like that. I find it very difficult to stop working at the end of the day. So I just think, well, I'll just do this and I'll just do that. And one example was my holiday this year. While I was on holiday, I was working. Luckily, my husband's very understanding and he supports my business, but I was definitely working every day that I was on holiday, only for a couple of hours. So it didn't interrupt our enjoyment of our holiday, but I definitely worked while I was on holiday. And you can kind of overdo it. So my business coach not only holds me accountable and helps me grow, but he also makes me pull back to be the best part of myself. So if you're overdoing it all the time, you're not being at your best and you're not helping your clients.
I think that's true. You can only pour from a full cup, and if you don't refuel and give that time, and I always think as well, I say to a lot of my clients, they're in the space when you give your brain downtime. That's where the magic happens. And if we constantly overstimulate our brain, it can't be at its best. It needs time to process and assimilate and gather and evolve and be creative. And sometimes not to be afraid of the pause, not to be afraid of that stopping point, so that you've got that chance, one, to refuel, and two, for your brain to do its best work. If we constantly work, we're not necessarily being productive. And I think I really like the fact, I really want to give your coach a shout out. What's your coach's name, and how can people get hold of him?
So his name's Chris Ward. He's on social media, and he is the agency coach.
Oh, fantastic. Well, I'd love to meet him one day. And
I think I'll probably put the link on here as well.
Okay, because I like to make it my business to know lots of different coaches. I think it's a very important working relationship, and putting the right person in front of the right coach is very important. And sometimes I meet clients and I think I'm not the right fit for you. And I always try to make it my business to know other coaches so that I can say, I've got just the person for you. And I think this is, I believe in abundance, and hopefully there'll be a time when somebody does the same back to me and says, I've got a client here. They're not quite the right fit for me, but I think they'll need a touch of you. So it's kind of give and take, isn't it? So we'll put his details, especially if anybody out there has got a property business, estate agents like yourselves, and they want that kind of arms round and to be held, please, put the arms round to be held accountable, and they can then be like yourself. And anybody listening out there who comes doesn't fully understand what it means to be held accountable. I love to teach people about this because it's often a missing ingredient in businesses. And this is where you take personal ownership for the good and the bad, and owning up to what's happened. And there's so many skills in there around leadership that people don't fully understand when they start their own business. So I think I would like to say, is there anything else you'd like to add? We've got a few more minutes there available. Is there anything that you feel we haven't covered that you think is really important to people listening this lunchtime?
I think it was an absolute pleasure to have this meeting with you. You're really good at owning the whole situation and making it flow really well. So I love that. Thank you so much.
And I love the inspiration you've given for me today. I really wanted to take the bull by the horns and do something live, because it is about getting in front of the camera. We could put it off, and it's about being that brave self. And I really admire you for how much you've achieved in your social media. And I love the fact that in our group, you're out there saying, how can I help you grow? Come and be part of my social media. And I think that's such a lovely thought. And anybody listening out there today in this lunchtime, I would say it's not all about it is about we. How can we lift up this economy together? How can we all have that ripple on effect and really build these communities of business owners supporting each other? So I'll say thank you so much.
Can we just say a quick thank you to Victoria for her comments?
Is Victoria there? I haven't been looking at the
So she basically said that Rachel Stone is such a champion of supporting female business owners.
Bless her.
Rachel. Thank you for that, Victoria.
Oh, that's nice. So we've had some live interaction on the day. How wonderful is that? So without further ado, I will say thank you so much, Susanna. And I look forward to see you in Friday in our BNI meeting at the crack of dawn. And hope anybody out there with any questions about what we've discussed, please get in touch to either Susanna or myself, and we'll get back to you. Thanks ever so much then. So I'm going to end that now. Have a lovely time.